Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 5, The Divided States of Erika. Okay, you guys, we open up with that same eerie silence that we left with last week. Well, there are like a few bits of dramatic sound like boom, shh. Because you know, Erika's news deserves a somber tone to reflect our collective shock and awe. Who among us could ever have seen this coming? Guys, if an 80-something lawyer and a 40-something former dancer turned current dancer can't make marriage work, then I ask you, what chance do the rest of us have? So we see Erika now, and she is riding in the back seat of a black SUV, and we get her voiceover. There's so many layers to this divorce. I mean, it's just so complicated. Okay, and then she turns her head and she stares right into the camera. I was scared. Have you guys ever seen that before? It's her voiceover, right? And she's like riding in the car, and then it's so scary. I'm going to scare you guys now, okay? Be prepared because I'm about to scare you guys. So she's like riding along in the car, and then you get this. Right? Oh my God. Okay, so now we cut to Rinna and all the others at Sutton's house. And Rinna goes, "Who's not here?" Sutton said, "Erika, but she's coming." Then the Louis Vuitton sisters, Dorit and Garcelle, both give like pitying, sad looks. Yeah, Erika. Wait, what the? Forget the Louis Vuitton sisters. We've got the polka dot twins. Rinna and Kyle are in the same dress, except for the fact that Rinna forgot her rabbi hat. Kyle. Stop trying to make hats your thing, Kyle. All right, now we see Erika walking up to the front door, dressed like, I don't know, her mom, maybe? Sort of an off-the-rack Ann Taylor dress with a pussy bow. I don't know. Talbots, maybe? Let's just say I don't think Mikey put her in that. Could you imagine? Okay, this dress is perfect. It's kind of a little PTA mom bake sale in the gymnasium moment. I love that for you. Now we're getting a flash forward to Erika saying, "I did not see it ending this way. I was gonna hold that man's hand till the day he died." So not too long. Oh, okay, so we've got snazzy jazzy music now. And the Chiron says 3 days earlier. So it's election day, and Kyle is having a big election day party. Mauricio is bartending. Kyle says she doesn't normally talk politics, but this is a very important election. And, you know, we could have a first female vice president. She says that's important for her daughters to witness. So Mauricio asks her who's coming, and she said, well, Garcelle won't be there because she's with her boys tonight, and she got that email from Erika 7 hours ago, so Erika won't be there. In her confessional, Kyle said, I was only shocked because we were just in Tahoe together, but when you sort of look at their marriage from afar, you're not really that shocked. What are you talking about, Kyle? Didn't you say when you met Crystal and Rob that age difference doesn't really matter because look at Tom and Erika. They're perfect for each other. Anyway, she goes on to say that Sutton is coming, but that she hasn't really talked to Dorit. And Mauricio goes, why? Kyle, well, have you talked to PK today? And he said, yeah. Kyle, oh, okay, so they're coming, right? And Mauricio said, yeah, he didn't tell me anything. What happened with Dorit? Cut to Dorit's house. She's getting ready for this election party. PK. I should point out that Kyle has asked everyone to dress patriotically. So PK says, you look great, babe. I am struggling to see what's patriotic about it. Dorit, honey, it's the vision. It doesn't have to be red, white, and blue. She's in a green plaid little suit. PK goes, well, it's patriotic if you're Irish. I mean, she does have a vote clip in her hair, so... And one of those Chanel life preserver pins. I thought I was making a joke about it looking like a life preserver. I looked it up. That is what it is. Chanel is doing this whole, like, nautical theme for some reason. Anyway, Dorit ignores PK. It's probably for the best. And she said, "You know I love Kyle, right? But she and I always have our little thing." Side note, add PK to the list of husbands who look better in glasses. I mean, I'm not saying good, but better, right? Dorit goes on to say that we were on the airplane on our way home from Lake Tahoe. I was having a very intense conversation with Crystal over something that happened over the weekend. You can say it, Dorit. We all know. Sutton saw her naked. Then Kyle turns around, and in mid-sentence, she cuts me right off. Flashback to a scene on the plane. Kyle's sitting in front. She turns around and says, "Oh, wait, I just have one thing to say." I mean, it's not. It is cutting off, but then we cut to Kyle telling Mauricio the story, and she said, "I just chimed in, like literally for the first time, and she bit my head off." Flashback to Dorit. "Kyle, let someone finish a sentence and then talk." And then Kyle said something like, "Well, let other people talk too. Get their voice in." Cut to Dorit talking to PK. "So it got like a little loud for a second, and I thought, I'm not doing this." Cut to Kyle telling Mauricio. "And I was just so taken aback that, of course, I started to cry." Oh, Kyle. Flashback, we see Kathy comforting Kyle, putting her arms around her. And Dorit goes, "Oh my God, you're crying now?" Kyle says to Mauricio, if anyone else had chimed in, anyone else, she wouldn't have said anything. So back with PK and Dorit, rather than suggest that she, pull Kyle aside privately and talk to her about it and tell her how you feel, PK gives the advice to give her a taste of her own medicine. Cut her off and then tell her, "See, how do you like it?" And then he tells her to make sure to tell him when she's doing that so that he can watch. So just for those keeping track, PK may look smarter in the glasses, but they're not actually making him smarter. Next, the Chiron tells us that it's 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the current electoral vote count is Biden 51, Trump 42. We're at Kyle's house. She's got a chef in the kitchen, and their preparations for the party are underway. We cut to Crystal and Rob in the car. They're heading over to Kyle's, and Rob asks her how she feels about seeing everybody again. And she said that she didn't really spend that much time analyzing it. Okay. And she said, I've just never experienced anyone not being that nice to me. So, I guess she's referring to Sutton. All right, so the guests are arriving. Kathy looks very pretty in a little skirt and blouse. I am wondering where Rick is, though. Come on, Rob Minkoff managed to show up. I doubt that Rick Hilton is busier than him, right? Mauricio walks in now. He's changed his clothes into, something more patriotic. I don't even remember what he was wearing. And he's introduced to Rob. It's just funny to me. I feel like men are like toddlers. They'll just make friends with a complete stranger. They don't have to assess whether they're going to like each other, like all the stuff that girls go through. It's just very uncomplicated with men. Mauricio's like, "Nice to meet you, Rob. You want to go outside and have a drink?" Rob's like, "Let's do it." And off they go. Now PK and Dorit arrive. Kyle's awkward. In her confessional, she's also a little peeved that Dorit didn't dress patriotic. She's got that vote clip in her hair. Come on. In her confessional, Kyle's like, I think she missed the memo with her little preppy leprechaun look. It was a little preppy leprechaun, and I like it. Now Sutton arrives, and she's with that guy. I can't remember his name, but I think he's like her business partner or something. He runs her store. I don't know. We've seen him before. I just can't think of his name. In Sutton's confessional, she said, Crystal and I are being cordial to one another, but I am walking on very thin crystal ice around her. Sutton introduces herself to Rob. Rinna shows up in a blue sequin jumpsuit, so she got the memo, and a wig that Harry has named Barbie. And of course, she also has a vote pin in her hair. They're such activists, these ladies. Okay, so Kyle directs everyone to go outside because out in the cabana, there's a giant screen TV and all this seating, and that's where they're going to go watch the returns. Oh, and thank you, Bravo. We get a Chiron underneath Sutton's friend, and his name is Jordan, and he is Sutton's store director. So I was kind of right. I was close. All right, now the Chiron says it's 6 p.m., wait a minute. It's only been a half hour since that chef was preparing food in the kitchen? Wow. Well, that happened in 30 minutes. Okay, so it's 6 p.m. and the electoral count now is Biden 80, Trump 48, with Georgia and Pennsylvania too close to call. I'll be happy when all these franchises get past election night. Kyle's like, who do you think's going to win tonight? And Sutton goes, oh, I don't think we're going to know for another month. Thank God it wasn't that long, but it wasn't that night either. So Kyle asked if anyone had talked to Erika. Rinna, I did. Yeah. This little whisper. And Kathy goes, did you know? And Lisa said, no, I found out with that text this morning at 9:15, like everybody else. Which I still don't know if the text just went to the core four, or did the text also go to Sutton and Garcelle, In Rinna's confessional, she said, Erika had us over about a year ago, and Tom was in great spirits. He was beyond charming. And then all the ladies agree that you never know what goes on behind closed doors. In Kyle's confessional, she said, if it were me, I would have shared it with these women. And she goes, I'm not judging. It's just, I thought, gosh, I thought we were closer than that. Then she says to the ladies there, not to make things awkward, but I know we haven't seen each other since Tahoe, and, you guys had your thing, and she's pointing to Sutton and Crystal. And Sutton said, well, I had my little breakdown, but I apologized to everyone, and I felt good when we left. I don't know if there's anything, unresolved. Crystal, it was good. I think it was fine. Well, thanks for that ringing endorsement. Cut to the guys now. PK says to Rob, what was the report from Crystal from her first trip with the ladies? And Rob's like, you know what? She had a great time with almost everybody. Side note, you better not be coming from a Jersey house husbands. Before you try to make these scenes with the men a thing, you're going to at least need Rick Hilton and Harry Hamlin to show up to a couple of these functions before you think you can come for Jersey, all right? I mean, even when one of the women doesn't have a guy that will show up to things, she brings her ex-husband. So, Jersey works for it, okay? They are definitely the reigning champs. Actually, this isn't bad. Mauricio goes, who do you mean, Sutton? And Rob goes, yeah. And Mauricio said, well, the way I heard it, she was just returning a sweater and walked in on her accidentally. PK, first of all, I would never walk into someone's room without knocking. And secondly, if I saw they were... Mauricio cuts him off. Dude, if you and I were on a guy's trip, you'd walk into my room in a nanosecond. Cut to the ladies. Crystal, I got home and I got on the scale. I lost 5 pounds. Ugh. Sounds like a dream vacation. Just kidding. I know it was because she was stressed and couldn't eat. Oh, okay. I'm not the only one that had that thought. Kathy goes, well, thank you, Sutton. Oh, no. Rinna's laughing. She goes, how fabulous. Then she's like, no, just kidding. But Kathy's like, hallelujah. Crystal was actually a good sport about it. She kind of chuckled. But then she said, it wasn't a great feeling because I have food issues. And Sutton goes, no. I'm not responsible for anyone losing 5 pounds. And Kyle's like, wait, I want to hear about this. So Crystal said, I'm a recovering bulimic. And I say recovering because I don't know what it's like to be any other way. And Kathy goes, I didn't know that. And she said, yeah, I know you didn't. Crystal tells the story now, and she says that she has been a bulimic since age 11, which kills me. But this is even worse. In school, they showed a video about bulimia and the dangers of other eating disorders. And Crystal said that she picked up some tools from that video, and that's when it started. Wow. Side note, it's interesting to me that Crystal would joke about being a tiger mom then. You know what I mean? Because obviously you wouldn't want to pressure your children to excel, knowing that those demands can contribute to a child becoming a perfectionist and, feeling inadequate. All right, it is 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we check in with the electoral count. Yet again, it's Biden 94 and Trump 72 at this point. The ladies go inside, and they're joining the guys now. Rinna tells Rob and Crystal she's worried about the election, and Kyle grabs Dorit for a little one-on-one. They go in the other room, and Kyle goes, "I've come to paddle you for your behavior on the plane." She's holding this long, I don't know, board thing. It's either like for cricket or it's to serve cheese on. I don't know what it is. And Dorit goes, "Excuse me?" Kyle, "I wanted to talk to you about what happened on the plane." Dorit, "Okay." In Kyle's confessional, she said, "This isn't the first time this has happened with Dorit." Flashback to Kyle and Dorit talking about the same thing in that very same room like a year ago. Kyle wants to know why Dorit jumped down her throat when she just had one quick thing to say to Crystal. Dorit, "Okay, last year you interrupted me a lot, Kyle." We see a flashback. Dorit continues, "And it's almost as if you don't think what I have to say is as important as what you have to say. You act like I'm talking all the time. I just said, let me finish my sentence." Kyle, "No, you screamed it at me, Dorit." She didn't. We saw the flashback a couple of times now. I mean, it's loud in a plane. There was no screaming. Let's just put it that way. Cut to the husbands at the bar now. PK and Mauricio are retelling a story to Rob about the time that they were together and they were drunk, and Kyle called Mauricio and Dorit had called PK, and both of them were just talking so much that they took the two phones and they put them together and they set them down somewhere, and then the two guys just went back to the bar. And the ladies were talking for so long, they never even knew that the guys weren't there. Rob gives a polite chuckle at this, but he really looks like a guy who wants to go home. I don't think the friendship is going to work. I actually think Mauricio and PK would get along with the Jersey husbands. I think they have the same sense of humor. Yeah. And in fact, I think Evan just tolerates them. So maybe Evan and Rob could go off and hang out together. Back to Kyle and Dorit. Kyle said, "Do you value our friendship, Dorit? Do you want to make an effort with me and invest in our friendship?" And Dorit said, "I think I have." Kyle, "Then don't ever talk to me like that again." I mean, that sounded like a threat. She goes, "Because that's not what friends do." Dorit goes, "You're actually turning this on me. I'm putting our friendship on the line because I said, can you not interrupt another sentence of mine? I think maybe it wasn't one time, Kyle." Dorit goes, "Should I say that last year you said, fuck you, Dorit? Fuck you?" Then we see a flashback, and that is pretty much exactly what she said to Dorit. And Dorit goes, "Did I come to you and say, if you want to be friends with me, don't ever speak to me like that again?" No, I didn't. Kyle's excuse seems to be that was a heated moment and everybody was talking like that. But on the plane, everyone was calm. She said, "I was waiting for an in and waiting. I was trying to be respectful because I do care about you." Kyle, why don't you just admit, like me, that sometimes you have to interrupt or you will forget what you were going to say? Because that happens to me all the time. Dorit goes, "Okay, well, then we're good, Kyle." And she gets up. And Kyle goes, "Well, I want us to really be good and not just say that we are." Dorit, "We're good." Kyle, "Well, now you're saying it like Erika. We're good." And Dorit is walking out of the room and she goes, "We're good. We're good." Kyle, "Then why are you walking away?" Dorit, "Because I'm done." And she walks out. Yeah, that's not good. That is not being good. Dorit finds PK, tells him that she wants to leave ASAP. It is 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Biden 192, Trump 132. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona too close to call. Kyle now gets on Portia for her patriotic wear being an orange scrunchie. Dorit now walks outside to where the ladies are and she says goodbye to them. She says it's because her dad is in town and she told him she wasn't going to be late. And then as she's walking back through the house to leave, Kyle said, "Why don't you just stay and eat?" Dorit, Let me see my parents, Kyle. I mean, that was good because what's Kyle going to say? She can't beg her to stay when she wants to see her parents. So, I mean, she just kind of had to let her go. And she and PK leave. So now Kyle goes to sit with the other ladies. And she's like, I wanted to work it out with her. And they're all going, oh, no, she's fine. She just wanted to go home and be with her parents. Kathy, Sutton's just glad that she's not in the middle of this one. Kathy doesn't care what she says or who she pisses off. I sort of love that about her. Then we see the news. Rachel Maddow says we're not going to get an answer tonight. And that's it for that night. Okay, so now the next day, Sutton walks into a Bentley store. She meets Garcelle there. And they have closed the store for her so that she doesn't have to wear a mask inside. Although, I mean, how crowded would a Bentley store be anyway? It's probably a weekday. I mean, election was a Tuesday, so it's a Wednesday. I mean, are there a lot of people in a Bentley store on a Wednesday? Probably not. And there's one in particular that Sutton is looking at, and Garcelle said to the salesman, can I be gauche and ask, how much does this go for? As you might imagine, Sutton is mortified. But you know what? I don't believe in that. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. I mean, like, that is probably true. But I don't think if you're filthy rich, you should never ask the price of something. That's just not good business sense. I don't know. I think you should know what you're paying for things, even though it's not breaking the bank. It just seems dumb not to. Anyway, it's $380,000. So, I mean, you know, I could afford a Bentley. I'd be living in it, of course, but might have to sell a few other things. Oh, God. Is that just like a stupid amount of money for a car? Anyway, we get the obligatory housewives test drive a car scene, and this one is, I guess, no worse than any other, but certainly no better. And yeah, Sutton is going to buy it. It is the first car that she has ever bought on her own without asking someone else's permission. I mean, you know, maybe you should have someone else's permission. You need someone to talk you out of that. Okay, now we are in Crystal's kitchen. She and Rob are talking about the party. Crystal's like, oh, it looks like you had a good time. You made some friends. He did say he had a good time, and he said Mauricio has very good taste in wine. And Crystal goes, oh, that's a good friend to have. And then they're like, yeah, it's a good group of people. And Rob goes, I talked to Sutton for a bit. And he goes, she's very easy to talk to. And then we see a flashback. And I don't know if you guys remember this from last year, but Sutton is friends with Jennifer Tilly. So Rob said, I heard you're friends with Jennifer Tilly. And then Sutton said, yeah, oh, she was in one of your movies. And he said, two of my movies. So they had that in common. And Crystal goes, well, I will say she was on her best behavior. Now the kids come in the kitchen, and Crystal tells us that she and Rob have very different parenting styles, and that he is the coddler and she's the hard ass. No surprise there. Then Crystal has a conversation with Rob that seems like something your husband should already know about you, but Rob acts surprised. She talks about her eating disorder, which he did know about, but then she said that she could never admit that she liked food before. Oh, I didn't know that, he said. I guess she felt like she was always a little heavy as a child. She wasn't. I saw a picture of her. She looked fine and normal, but that's whatever. That's how she felt. She said she also, as a child, always felt ugly. She wanted to be blonde, blue-eyed, and skinny. Get in line. No. Basically, she wanted to be American. And as a child, to her, that meant being white. So that was a little bit of a rough conversation. Then her son comes in and wants sesame balls. And she said, okay, you can have as many as your age. And he goes, oh, just 8? And she goes, dude, that's a lot of balls. And then she turns to Rob and said, that's what she said. I mean, even though it didn't quite make sense, I thought it was cute, and it was a little other side to her personality that I liked. Next, we are at Sutton's store, Sutton, and Kathy and Kyle come to visit. They're talking about Sutton's upcoming party and that it has a Parisian vibe. And Kyle's like, who else coming? Kyle's so excited because she knows what she's going to wear. Well, that's a little foreshadowing for what Bravo already spoiled for us, that she and Rinna are going to be in the same dress. Anyway, I guess no one really RSVP'd, and Sutton said, oh, hey, that's fine. I like having a $35,000 party where people, just show up. Kathy says she wants to figure out this Erika thing. She wants to know if anybody talked to her other than texting. And Kyle said, I called her, but I don't know anything because she said she was exhausted. And I just took that to mean I don't want to talk about it right now. So Sutton decides to text Erika right then and there. Well, actually, I think Kyle talked her into it because she needs a head count, So she starts texting her and she's like, hey, you, I know you're swamped and no pressure. I'm just wondering if you're coming on Saturday. Let me know if you can. Thinking about you. So then Sutton says that she's going to move some of the things from her store to her house to kind of make it more Parisian for the party. Kathy goes, she's looking around. Yeah, I really don't think you need that piece of furniture right there. And I see that closet is empty. Sutton, that's a powder room. Kathy, okay. Sutton, which we need. Kathy, yes, you do. Oh my God. She's such a lovable Magoo. She's afraid to wear contact lenses, but she's too vain to wear glasses. Oh God. She's funny. Kyle's just laughing and she goes, we like to give advice. The scene ends with they're walking out and Kathy goes, do you need that desk right there? Sutton, yes, Kathy, we actually work here. Okay, now we are at Lisa Rinna's house, and Harry is out working in his massive garden. He's lamenting that his potatoes didn't get that big this year. He doesn't know why. He's explaining the reason for the composter to Lisa. Lisa's like, do you put poop in there? And Harry goes, no. So it becomes like fertilizer, but you don't put poop in there. Harry, no. So now Harry is making Lisa do a fire drill because the Santa Ana winds are coming. So Harry's got this like 4-foot, pretty large above ground pool that he has covered. It's just filled with water to be like a reservoir. And Lisa's joking like, well, we should have a pool party. Anyway, so the drill starts. First, she opens up this box, and there are neatly printed out instructions on the inside of the lid. And I am telling you, just like that, Harry Hamlin has become 10 times more attractive to me. Yes. I am so into the attention to detail and organization that went into this. The only thing that could be better is if he had color-coded things, but the instructions are clear. He tells her what to do. She has to take this hose out that is very neatly folded into this box, this fire hose. She takes the one end, he has to put that in the water. The red side goes down. I mean, it's very detailed. She has to grab the end of the hose, run to the end of her yard, and then like back to kind of unfurl it, I guess. Plus she has to do this in a minute or less. Then she has to, with a cord, like pull start a generator, which she got it on the first try. And then that will draw the water out of that pool and hose down the house to save it from the fires. So it all went really well. And now the two of them sit down to have a little conversation. She tells Harry that she talked to Erika, but that she's just given her some space. And Harry said, well, please give her my best. He said it's never easy going through a divorce. He said that his first divorce was very acrimonious, but the second one, he said, I just said, take what you want. He said, I was just like, bye-bye, see you later, that's it. And then he goes, not anything I ever want to go through again. Okay, deal? And Lisa's like, deal. Harry goes, pinky promise? And so they pinky promise, and it's just so cute. I'm wondering what kind of deal Lisa Rinna made with Bravo, because Harry agrees to be on, I don't think he's ever gone to anybody else's house. He agrees to film basically with just Lisa or Lisa and his daughters at home. That's it. And have you ever noticed, I don't know exactly how many years Lisa Rinna has been on, but have you ever noticed that I don't think she's ever hosted anything at her house? Has she? I can vaguely remember one time when it had to do with Harry had made pies. And people were like raving about Harry's pies. But think how often we're at Kyle's house or even Dorit's house. I just think there was some kind of deal where Harry's like, you can do this show. I will agree to be on X number of times, but you're not filming here. I don't know. Anyway, it is now time for the party that we have been waiting for since the very beginning of this episode when they teased it a little bit with Erika's arrival. And we get to see what $35,000 will buy you. Side note, for someone who is so adverse to mentioning the price of things, like teddy bear slippers or a Bentley, I find it kind of funny that Sutton is the housewife that tells us what it costs to throw a party. We see her event planner, Nick, who probably regrets taking on this job. It looks like this is at the last minute and everything's done. And Sutton said, do you think those look too wedding? And he's like, with the flowers? And she's like, yeah, if you could do something about that. And he goes, I guess, we could see what we have. And she goes, yeah, because that's just screaming bridal to me. They were like white or pale blush colored roses. I don't know. It was screaming bridal and not Parisian. He's like, okay, let's see what else we have. And also, kill me now. Guys, I feel like Larry Scott would have had this under control. He'd be on the horn shaking down the nearest florist. Get over here now. Get me some flowers that don't look like a wedding. Sutton is transforming her home into a trip to Paris. She tells us that she goes there about 4 times a year. Jordan is helping by setting up jewelry, and there are some mannequins from the store. And I'm wondering now, is this like a Tupperware party? Because that feels incredibly tacky. I mean, for Sutton of all people, right? Jordan's like, do you like all this jewelry here? Sutton, yes, but what I don't like are all these price tags. Yeah, I don't like the price tags either. There's like a bracelet for $1,600 and a ring for $1,140, or really high-end items, and I somehow think that makes it seem all the tackier to me. But yeah, the price tags are there, and Sutton's like, yeah, I hate it. And Jordan goes, okay. And she goes, like, I hate it. Yeah. Heard you the first time. In her confessional, Sutton said, you can tempt these ladies with a little jewelry. It never hurts to make a sale. Something's got to help pay for these parties. I feel like someone has taken over Sutton's body. It all feels like something that Sutton would be mortified to see. I don't know. It's just very out of character for her, isn't it? All right, so Kyle shows up at Crystal's now, and I guess the two of them are going to Sutton's together. And she's got her big polka dot dress on and her rabbi hat. She said to Crystal, it's very chilly out. And, it was like 90 degrees yesterday. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get fooled by that. So, she's got this dress and she didn't bring a coat or anything. Crystal's like, do you have a jacket? And while Crystal is asking her question, Kyle's eyes are wandering over to Crystal's purse, which is sitting on the table, and it is a Birkin bag that looks like maybe the storefront. I'm so not a fancy girl. You guys already know that about me, but I mean, it's cute. I don't think any bag is worth whatever this costs, like $40,000 or something. I don't know what it costs, but I know they're super expensive. So that seems silly to me, but I mean, it's cute. But Kyle is like a kid in a candy store. She can barely concentrate on the question that Crystal's asking her. Anyway, she goes, I do not have a jacket. And Crystal's like, well, I mean, if it's outside, she should have a heater or two, right? Kyle, I don't know. I was thinking maybe she'd just have it inside. She cannot stop looking at it. Finally, she admits, okay, that bag over there is very distracting. Oh my God. Bravo now tells us it's $95,000. Rich people really don't know what to do with their money, do they? Crystal goes, oh, I had it on display just for you. Kyle's like, it's holy macaroni. I mean, it deserves to be on display. It deserves, I don't know, maybe we have to send it in its own car or something. At Dorits, she is in all Louis Vuitton all day, all night. PK, that's cute. You look like a 60s girl. I think it looks like a diner waitress uniform. Like it just needs a plastic name tag. Flo. Dorit. Dorit tells PK, it's a Parisian theme, but I don't know, PK. This time of day, I don't want something heavy like coqueton. At 12 p.m., PK tells her to load up on the caviar. And she said, I think that most Parisians would be eating a croissant right now. At Crystal's, she asks Kyle how she's feeling about Dorit. And Kyle said, well, I really only spoke to her at my house that night. I'm sensitive, but I'm not a pushover. So, like, don't take advantage of me because I'm a forgive and forget kind of person. And Crystal's like, yeah, I get that. I like that. I want to know what Crystal's really thinking inside. She started off with having these very snarky, like, diary room things, her confessionals, and I feel like she kind of stopped doing that. I don't know why. I need a little more. Like, I want to know what she's really thinking when she goes, yeah, we're good. Meanwhile, back at Sutton's, good God, she is tough on the people that work for her. Poor Nick. This may very well be the last event Nick plans. Sutton's like, Nick, cue the champagne. Nick goes, okay. Sutton, where is it? He goes, I have it. Sutton, at the door. Nick's like, okay. Not good. So Kyle and Crystal show up first. Of course, Kyle has to mention that she owns the house. Sutton is just renting it. And Kyle is obsessed with the place. She is obsessed with the way Sutton has designed it. Kyle is in, like, the corner of every room taking pictures. And she's like, I loved this house. And just seeing what you've done, like, I seriously want to move back in. Okay, so now Lisa Rinna shows up, and we all know she's in the same dress as Kyle. Then Garcelle arrives, and Crystal says to Garcelle, this is a good day. Garcelle's like, it sure is. And then everyone talks about the election and how everybody is all excited that we finally, in this country, have our first female, Asian, Black vice president. Now, Kathy's here, and all that's missing is Erika. Garcelle said, I was shocked to hear about Erika. I didn't see it coming. Last year, she teared up talking about him. We see a little flashback, and she's like, it seemed like she was proud of him and that she admired him. And I thought, that's what I want in a relationship. I just really felt the love. So then she said, do you think she filed? And Rinna and Kyle both said, yeah, she did. And Garcelle said, shouldn't she have waited? And Kyle goes, waited for what? Garcelle, she's not saying a word. Rinna, waited for what? More silence. Finally, Dorit goes, I know what you're thinking. I literally know what you're thinking. Kyle goes, well, can you fill us in for those of us who don't know what she's thinking? Garcelle goes, I don't know. I just feel like they've been married for such a long time. And then Kyle goes, oh, wait. Oh, stop it, Garcelle. Garcelle goes, I didn't say it. In Sutton's confessional, she said, Tom is 82, but now let me tell you, people live until they're like 100 now. Garcelle's like, I'm implying it, but you guys are all so slow. And Sutton's like, Garcelle, that is evil. And now in walks Erika, and damn it, it's a to be continued. After all that. Waited this entire episode for what Erika was going to finally say. Well, that's just going to have to wait till next week, guys. That's it for me. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Click on the bell to be notified every time I post a new video. And oh yeah, don't forget to leave a comment. Always love to hear what you guys have to say. And that's it for me. So I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.